Hey, Diane DeWald with CreativeCatCrafts.com. Welcome back to Masculine Monday. We're going to make this really fun card, and we're pairing two different stamp sets. So from several months ago, there was this Mr. Fix-It, sorry for the glare, that was in a monthly card kit. I don't remember what month it was. It might have been June, it might have been May, I can't recall. But this is available for individual purchase. The stamp set and then the coordinating dies, I have them around somewhere. And then the new release for this month, let me pull you out just a smidge so that you can see this whole wonderful set. This is the collector's frame from Gina K Designs. It was in the August release, and there's a set of coordinating dies. We're going to concentrate on this. This is supposed to be those trays that use the wooden trays that you see collectibles on walls or in drawers for like a typesetter, for an old style printer. My grandfather was an old style printer, so he had these hanging on his walls, and my grandmother had all kinds of little knickknacks inside of them. But we're going to concentrate, we're going to use this stamp and then the coordinating die to create this masculine card, because when I saw the collector's frame, I saw builder frame. And so I took the Mr. Fix-It and combined them. So let me pause you real quick and we'll get set up. Okay, so the different cardstock we have. I have just a quarter sheet, A2 size of Kraft. We're going to cut one of the frame out, and then I have another 110 pound. I'm going to cut a second frame. This insert here for Happy Birthday, I saved the piece that fell out, and then I wanted a little bit of dimension. So I did one of the Kraft and then one of the 110 pound. So use what you've got. I like to have a lot of 110. All these Mr. Fix-It elements, those were also cut and colored from 110. And I've got a short video that I've already pre-done all of the coloring and cutting and stamping of the elements. So that way you don't have to sit here and watch me for 20-30 minutes doing that part of it. And then the focal point for both the inside and the front for the frame, I used the Master Layout 1, and it was the Rectangle 2, I believe, and it measured, what did it measure? 3 7/8, so 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. None of the other mats or Master Layout squares would fit behind this, so I just used just a simple white layer for that. And you can add some grounding elements in the back. I happen to be one that likes a little bit of pristine card. It's my OCD, so I did not do any grounding elements. So last piece is, this is chocolate truffle. So I've got a 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. So we're going to get the card piece together really quickly, and then we'll move on to getting everything stamped out. So fold towards the mountain or towards the bump. Has to do with fibers in your cardstock. And let me move you just a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. And I already have all my pieces cut out. So I've got my frames and my insert that we're going to put this Happy Birthday on. And then these are my back panels. Sorry, there's a little bit of dust, so I'm scraping it with my fingernail. I could have grabbed my nail file and done that as well. And I'm just going to glue these down real quick. And then I'll play that little video for the elements, and then we'll stamp out the collector's frame. This is such a fast, easy card to do. Even with the coloring of the elements, it took me 20-30 minutes just because I cut out a mass of them because I'm going to use the leftover elements next week's masculine card. So, okay, so we've got that done. Move that off to the side. Let me cover my glue again and kick that video off. So here's the Mr. Fix-It, and I'm just grabbing a couple of the elements that I want to use: the wrench, the hammer, the pliers, the screwdriver, and I believe that's the screw I did. And I'm just using black Onyx ink, and I am stamping the initial impression. It doesn't matter how perfect this is. This is where I'm going to line up my previous cutouts of the dies, or the die cutouts. That way you get perfect stamping every time. You've seen me do this before. You've seen other stampers do this. Gina K does it. And then you see a little bit of the minty green tape, and that just helps me, and I'm zooming along here, but that just helps me keep all my little die cuts inside of the outline, so that if I need to stamp it a second time, it's easy to do. So I had to cut off a little bit on that little wrench there, wrench pliers. Now I'm putting in all the little die cuts, and we'll ink up those stamps again and get our first impression before we jump ahead. And like I said, this is a really quick video. It's 3 or 4 minutes because I literally zoom through all of it. So I'm pulling out the little die cuts that I've already stamped, and later on in the video I have my Cricut tool. There it is. I have my Cricut tool, and just kind of prying it up and poking it out so that I can quickly grab it. So I'm pretty much done with the stamping part, and we're going to go ahead and get these cleaned off, put away, and then we'll start our coloring. So I'm going to color these with Prismacolor Premier Soft Core. I believe they have a wax core, because I'm going to use some Gamsol to spread out the color and color it in. And for some reason I did all the hammers all at once with the pencil, and then went back with the Gamsol, and I switched that over. There's the Gamsol. It's a mineral spirit. It's not the same thing that you find in the hardware store, and I'm just using a blending stump and kind of circular motion, just pushing that pigment around, and when it stops moving, I just re-wet the tip. And I had already previously cleaned these, and it's lickety spit. So I used the 1082 chocolate on the hammer, and then for the screwdriver here, I'm using, what is this? This 917 Sunburst Yellow. Same concept, coloring it around, and then, so I tried to erase, sorry for my head getting there. I went outside the line, tried to erase it, and then instead I went ahead and grabbed my white pencil and just kind of covered it up a little. So if you go outside the line, sometimes if you can't lift that colored pencil, the white helps cover it up a little bit so that it's not such a glaring error. And for the pliers, I'm using 912 Apple Green from Prismacolor and blending it out. And I'll go lickety split here in just a moment, just like that, and voila, they're almost done. So here, like I said earlier, I'm doing one at a time rather than all coloring and then all blending. And I should have sped this up just a little bit. I just didn't know how fast I was going to talk during this and how much you wanted to see. So for the wrench, the nails I didn't, or the screws I did not color in. I figured they were just fine the way they were. And for the wrench, I am using the 1052 30% warm gray. And the white pencil, its number is 938, and it's just white. I have the 150 set of the Prismacolor pencils. I decided I was going to go ahead and collect them all. I actually very much enjoy sitting down in the evening and watching TV with my colored pencils and coloring them all in. So we are almost done here. And there we are. So we are back, and yes, my little cheat sheet of things. So now that we have all of the elements colored, we're going to go ahead and grab the Misti, get this set up, put you out just a little bit, try not to get you on the glare. And I have the background, double background stamp from Gina that I use as my grip mat. So I'm just going to use, let's see where, oh, here it is. So when I cut out these frames, I saved the outside panel of, or the outside piece of the A2 panel, because we are going to go ahead and affix this down into our sticky mat. And I'm going to grab the stamp. And you can see I've already used it. The ink I'm using, which is the dark chocolate, did discolor it, which, you know, that's okay. It still stamps just fine. And I'm going to put this kind of here in the middle, just like that. Pick it up, grab my ink. I'm going to go ahead and use the dark chocolate, since that is what I'm going to fully stamp it in. That way I don't have to clean it off before I stamp the frame. Grab my little tool here, my pressure tool. I'm not putting a lot of pressure, but just enough. And I did put minty tape, oops, sorry. I did put minty tape on the corners to hold it down, which is going to make lining this up a little more challenging. So I'm going to try to get this corner and that corner. Let me grab my frog tape. This is a delicate, it's a painter's tape. It's for delicate surfaces. And it comes up real easily from this grip mat. But I just want to try to get this down as best as possible. So we're only going to stamp the Kraft. So need to make sure you line up the image with the openings, and save all of these openings, because who knows what you could use it for. That is poking out, so I'm trying to get this perfectly in there. There. Okay, it's down. So grab my dark chocolate. I always do that. I put because it's in my left hand, I put the lid down over here. And then the ink pad's in my right, and I like to put it face down on its ink lid, so that if I have some spaces, which I do, I'm going to ink this again, because I'm not putting a ton of pressure using my pressure tool. I'm just trying to get the stamp to connect with that paper in all the places, because it is a pretty large stamp. I mean, it's almost the size of an A2 card. And almost perfect. There's a couple places up here. So get that to the corresponding part of the stamp. Okay, much better. Perfect. So I just am using a lint-free microfiber towel. You can use your tidy towel, but I'm just going to clean the stamp off and put it away, because we are done with the stamp. This way it stays as lint-free as possible. And we're done with this, so I'm just going to gently peel these up. Oops, take out my frame first. And just peel all of this up because we don't need this anymore. And actually, I take that back. So for the greeting, I use the vertical variety happy birthday. So let me grab, where is it? Oh, here it is. I'm going to grab the happy birthday from here. We're just going to stamp it down here. And I'm using black Onyx. Doesn't have to be perfect, because watch this. So my frame for, the happy birthday, or for the collector's frame, I'm just going to line that up. Grab some minty tape. The grip mat's holding it here, and then I just put some minty tape right there. And I'm going to put that on the inside. And voila, it's perfectly straight, just like that. So let me clean that off. And put it away. We are done with the Misti. So I can gently peel that off. We don't need this anymore. That's just a scrap piece of paper. Get that out of the way. And I have a little silicone mat. I'm going to glue these two frames together. Here's my glue bottle. Here it is. So I'm just putting a very thin bead of glue on key places of the frame. And we'll glue these together. Whoops, make sure you get it the right way. You almost saw me make a mistake. And I put it on the silicone mat because it oozed out. And that's perfectly fine on the silicone because then you just let it dry and it changes. So let me grab the front card. And I'm going to put just a little bit of glue. Does not take much. And then try to center this on that white mat. Hard for me to do because I'm not over it. Whoop, 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 it's moving around on me. My fingers are sticky. Okay, so I'm going to use my big block and press that down. Just put some pressure on it. Just like that. Look how easy that was. Now, don't need that. So here's the happy birthday. And I'm going to slide it down on the inside. And then I'm going to use my bone folder to come along the edge because it's got two layers on. Oh no, I put some. We're going to have to we'll cover that up. I can't find my little sand eraser. I must have had some ink on my finger. Got most of it, but we'll cover that with an embellishment. I'm notorious for having ink on my fingers. Okay, so it's shaping up nicely. So let me grab all of my embellishments, my focal points, I should say. Let's really zoom you in. And I'm going to put dimensionals on these. And for the screws, okay, my fingers are sticky, so hang on. Hand sanitizer to the rescue. Okay. So you may have to cut some of your dimensionals, and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Get all the backings off. Get a Gina hair off. Okay, and where's my stick tool? Okay, and I'm just going to put these down. Probably should use the tweezers. Trying not to have it hang over. Yeah, I think I need the tweezers. All the thin parts, trying to get those areas where, just like that. And then, yes, these are Stampin' Up. I have said it before, I'll say it again. I have hundreds of these left. I should really use my tweezers for this. My fingers are too fat, too big. And almost. Okay, so let's pull all the backings off. That's already gone. That's stuck to my finger. Now I want my tweezers. And what I do with them. Oh my goodness, there they are. They were hiding. So, first thing I want to do is I want the hammer right here. And I'm trying to be conscious of where those dimensionals are. Just like that. And then the screw up here. The screwdriver here. The pliers. Right there, and then one more screw. Nope, don't want to cover that. We're just going to put it right there. And then last but not least, I am using from Cartwright Sequins and Beads their coffee confetti. There's 3 different sizes in here, but we're going to try to use the small on all of these. And then I'm going to put one right where I have that ink spot and get my pick and stick tool. Make sure that the sequins are concave up so that the glue makes contact with the surface. And I can put them away, zoom you out after I move all of this aside. And we have some really fun happy birthday for anybody that works construction or is handy and works with tools. it makes a great birthday card. Thank you so much for joining me today. I very much appreciate your support, your time. I'll have everything I've used linked down in the video description down below. If you would click the like button for me, please. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, there is a subscribe button down below. And then if you'll hit that and click the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. So until next time, happy stamping.